They came like a nightmare folding over reality itself. Cold, unfeeling, and utterly relentless. The moment the first fleet dropped into orbit, Earth knew it wasn't just a war for survival. It was a war for time itself. The invaders, known only as Azarthal, were something no human mind could truly grasp. Creatures that moved through dimensions, bending space with an ease that made our physics crumble. Conventional weapons, nuclear arsenals, orbital bombardments. Nothing stopped them. Their ships shimmered, flickered, like shadows caught between moments. Our attacks passed through them, phantoms against an impenetrable force. Humanity was losing, and fast. Then came the project no one believed would work. Time itself was weaponized. The concept came from a ragtag group of quantum physicists and military tacticians who'd been secretly experimenting with temporal feedback loops. It was madness, dangerous to even attempt, a gambit so extreme that if it failed, it could tear the fabric of reality apart. But losing meant extinction. The plan was simple in theory. Trap the Azarthal in a continuous loop, forcing them to relive their assault over and over until they broke or burned out. The problem was, time loops weren't a natural weapon. They required an anchor, a hinge point to catch the enemy in the fold of seconds that refused to unwind. That anchor became the city of New Shanghai, the last stand of humanity's elite forces, and the epicenter of the experimental temporal device, known as a chronospike. The day the Azarthal invaded New Shanghai, the sky cracked open in impossible colors. Shadows spilled across streets, and reality fractured like glass under a hammer. Time blurred. The seconds stretched and snapped back in disjointed rhythm. People vanished, reappeared. Screams echoed forward and backward, impossible to place in a sequence. The chronospike activated. The city was swallowed by a looping moment, a temporal cage flickering with raw power. The Azarthal fleet was caught inside it. Their ships blinked endlessly between existence and non-existence, their assaults rewinding before they could land a decisive blow. Every death reset, every missile launch vanished into thin air, caught in the cruel repetition of the loop. For weeks, the loop held, but the Azarthal were not mindless invaders. They adapted. They evolved with each cycle, their twisted biology and technology learning from every reset. They began to anticipate the loop, exploiting its boundaries, probing the edge where time frayed. And that's when the horrors began. Soldiers trapped inside the loop started seeing things, visions not tied to any time frame. Faces twisted in agony appeared at the edge of perception. Screams overlapped with laughter from other loops, sometimes decades old. Reality cracked further, and human minds frayed under the strain of living the same brutal battle over and over, unable to die, unable to escape. Some went mad, wandering the temporal folds like ghosts in their own memories. Others became something else, chained by the loop's impossible pressure, their bodies and minds shifting between moments like broken puppets. But humanity had one edge the Azarthal never expected: relentless will. Soldiers who lost everything in the loops, families, homes, entire futures, held on to a grim resolve. They learned to fight the loop itself, to anchor their consciousness to fragments of time that the Azarthal couldn't reach. They began to strategize in these broken moments, using knowledge from previous cycles to set traps, sabotage ships, and strike at the alien commanders. The battle became a war inside time, a chess game played across endless repetitions, where each player's next move depended on memories that refused to be erased. Then the impossible happened. A breach in the loop, a flicker that didn't reset, appeared near the chronospike's core. From it emerged a single Azarthal creature unlike any other, its form both terrifying and grotesque, shimmering with the energy of collapsing realities. It moved not through space, but through time itself. It was the Azarthal Queen, the source of their dimensional power, and she was breaking free. Humanity's final gambit was to trap her in a nested loop, inside the loop, a loop within a loop, hoping to fracture her mind and end the invasion forever. The elite squad tasked with this mission was sent through the breach, armed with temporal disruptors designed to bind the Queen. They fought like demons from hell, each second a battle, each heartbeat a defiance against oblivion. They cornered the queen in a collapsing shard of time, lashing out with weapons that shredded moments, ripping her apart across infinite cycles. And then, in the heart of the nested loop, the queen did something no one expected. She smiled. Her smile wasn't a triumph, but of cruel understanding. She whispered across the ripples of time, a voice heard in every loop, in every mind trapped within the endless cycle. You think you hold time, but time holds you. The loop fractured. The city of New Shanghai shattered into temporal shards, falling apart in ways no physics could explain. The squad vanished, trapped forever in an endless limbo of battle, their screams echoing through fractured moments. But something else was left behind. A single transmission, encoded in the temporal distortions, a message humanity wasn't meant to hear. The Zarthol Queen was not just invading to conquer space. She was escaping something far worse, a collapsing universe, a death that consumed dimensions. Time was their last refuge. By weaponizing time loops, humanity hadn't just trapped an invader. They had tied themselves to a cosmic predator's eternal flight. The final shock was this. Every loop reset, every battle replayed, was not a victory. It was a countdown. Time itself was bleeding out, unraveling not just around Earth, but everywhere. The Zarthol Queen had been buying time, yes, but now the predator was coming, and humanity was caught in the infinite loop of a dying universe, one where every second one was a step closer to the end of all things. The chronospike signal flickered one last time, and the world heard a voice not of this dimension. A whisper carried through the void. You thought you were the hunters. You are the prey in time's last nightmare. The loop closed, and the darkness waited.